Our first topic today, on January 12th, the worst earthquake in 200 years struck less than 10 miles from the city of Port-au-Prince, Haiti, turning an already impoverished nation into a pile of rubble. Many have compared the disaster in Haiti to the devastation of Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, but you can't really compare a regional disaster to an entire country in pieces, or can you? When the cameras stop rolling and the celebrities stop raising money for Haiti, will they be able to recover, and how long will it take? Richard, what do you think?
Well, I think it's going to take a very long time for some very good reasons. If you get some information about what Haiti has going for it, it's got a population of about 9 million people. Interestingly, it has a median age of about 20 years old. About 54% of the folks in Haiti live in poverty, and they have a 65% unemployment rate. So they had massive problems before the earthquake even began. They were the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. So I believe that because there's or very few skilled workers, you've got an agrarian society for the most part, that turning Haiti around, which has been that way for 100 years, is not going to be easy, and it's not going to be one of those things where we just slapdash it in, send some money, wave the flag, build a couple of schools, and then hightail it out of there. Because the ferment that's been going on in Haiti anyway, when you get that many unemployed people, it's not a good thing for a stable government.
Well, they've essentially been run by a kleptocracy for about the last 60 years, and I think that's the catastrophic thing about Haiti right now. They just don't have a stable government, and you could not have picked a worse country to destroy and have to rebuild than Haiti. They have practically no infrastructure to begin with, and when you get into a situation like that, I mean, you can send Bill Clinton down there 1,000 times, and you're going to scratch the surface barely with this kind of an effort, and it's going to be, I think, a multi-decade effort to get them back to where they were.
That's what I was wondering. What should the goal be? Because the bar was pretty low before they were completely wiped out. So where are we? What are we trying to do with the money we're sending?
Well, it's again even more problems is you have a really large illiteracy rate. So you've got people who have trouble helping themselves to begin with. Where do you start? Infrastructure, I suppose, would be the first place that would make some sense to start. New roads, bridges, whatever they need, and then move towards education, because you'll be putting some of the folks who are unskilled laborers to work building those roads and doing the unskilled work that needs to be done to build the infrastructure, while you're also trying to kind of boost the education system that's there.
Well, I mean, we've been sending them millions and millions of dollars for years. I mean, absolutely years. I mean, they've just as Jack said earlier, they've been stealing from their people, and they haven't been using any of the monetary help that we've sent to them over the last several decades. And now they want more money in total. I mean, we've got $470 million in U.S. funds that are just private funds donations. And you said earlier in the very beginning about Katrina and comparing it. Right. But back to that point is, Katrina got very, very little help considering, and when we had all these private donations, and not very much of the rest of the world jumped in to help, and now we've got this, whole global, charity fund going for Haiti, and I don't know if I agree with it, because throwing money at that problem does not solve it. And just as Richard said, you've got to come up with a realistic goals and plan for it.
I'm fairly optimistic. Because when you start as low as they are, I think you can build up from there. And I've been a masonry contractor virtually all my life, and I see all of these blocks just laying there. And it's been what they call unreinforced masonry. But can you imagine the opportunity to put some block plants down there that are fairly labor intensive, and have those folks make the blocks, teach them how to lay the blocks and put in adequate foundations, and put in the reinforcing that's necessary, because they have not only an occasional earthquake, but hurricanes and all of that. And there's an architect that has a design on a $4,000 home. And they used them at Katrina Katrina, and then they tore them down. They were temporary. But he said in their economy, a $4,000 house is pretty much first cabin. And so I think you're going to see a lot of innovative things. I think a lot of it has got to be people to people rather than people to the government or government to government. And I think the opportunities are great for people that really want to do some hands-on things down there. One of my dreams would be to get a carload, a train load of lumber, find out what they need, and get it going from the Northwest down to Corpus Christi or wherever they put those things on barges. And I think you're going to hopefully not see a downturn in people's compassion for down there. And I think as you get actual projects that people can contribute to and see something happening, that it'll
well, I mean, you know
be
that.
there.
I mean, Katrina, the devastation from Katrina is some of those people are still without homes, and schools haven't been rebuilt, and a lot of that whole New Orleans area still hasn't come back.
It's hard for me to get enthusiastic about rebuilding houses that are 16 feet below the Mississippi River. It's like, hey, that maybe isn't the smartest thing in the world, and they have maybe some hope with the new mayor down there, but I think there wasn't a lot of confidence in the former administration.
Well, there's going to be a sustained effort in Haiti. There's no question about that. I mean, this is what developed nations do. They go in, anytime there's a situation like this, they bombard it with aid, and there's going to be another one and another one and another one. And if you read the New York Times this morning, there was a story in there about Istanbul, and they have a massive catastrophe waiting to happen where 90% of their infrastructure is this unreinforced cement. And they are going to have a massive earthquake there. And so every time this happens, the international community is going to keep jumping in, and the charities are going to keep jumping in. And I think, you know, they will be able to rebuild it, and they will be able to rebuild it better. And we will have to be an example. We will have to be the leader in this.
We always have to
The other problem is, even when
Well, we do
you
have to
rebuild,
be.
what are you going to move their economy forward to? Because still, it's an agrarian economy. How are you going to raise the level of overall GDP so it gets to the people? Because $1,300 a year is what most Haitians live on.
Well,
Right.
2/3 of Port-au-Prince was displaced.
Right.
Just right off the bat.
Right.
They're out in the field. And it's a massive public health problem.
And wait till the rain hits. I mean,
Right.
Yes,
Yeah,
we're
no,
just getting to the
hurricane.
rainy season,
yeah,
so we're going to
it's
see
going
what
to
it's
be
like.
miserable down there, and it hasn't been a picnic so far.
Well, I'm sure we will revisit this topic again in the future as things progress.